It's Here First from IPR. I'm Megan McKinney. The Democratic candidate for Iowa's open U.S. Senate seat shares his thoughts on the farming industry. And Iowans have an opportunity to help conserve native bees. It's Tuesday, July 7th. Democrat Josh Turek says this is a dangerous time to be an Iowa farmer, and Turek pledges to push for breaking up ag industry monopolies if he's elected to the U.S. Senate. Turek, a state representative from Council Bluffs, toured a Century farm near Ankeny where crops, cattle, and poultry are raised. He says without quick action on a variety of fronts, farms will get bigger and rural Iowa will continue to shrink.
It is a dangerous time to be an Iowa farmer right now. This may be the last generation we have to address this, and we need folks to go up to the United States Senate, to Washington, and actually fight for our rural communities and our small family farms.
Turek says Congress needs to pass a right to repair legislation that allows farmers to repair their own equipment. Turek backs country of origin labeling for U.S. meat. He says Congress should be forced to stay in Washington until a farm bill is passed, and he'd push to roll back tariffs that are driving commodity prices down. He faces Republican Congresswoman Ashley Hinson in the race for Iowa's open U.S. Senate seat. A new partnership is revitalizing a Des Moines Public Schools agriculture program and giving farmers land to grow on. Here's more about it from IPR's Mara Curran.
Refugee and immigrant farmers recently started growing crops behind the Central Campus Agriculture Science Academy. The new garden is part of a partnership between DMPS and Global Greens to bring back Central Campus's agri-science program. DMPS leaders looked at how they could reimagine the program after it shut down due to low enrollment. Tasha Brown with DMPS says the partnership will allow students and local farmers to work together in a global landscape.
How do we help kids grow and learn about food? And the farmers out here can help work side by side with their students, teach them.
Brown says the space will allow farmers to teach students what farming looks like in their cultures. She says the program will reopen this fall. I'm Mara Curran, IPR News.
Cedar Falls is working to refresh its College Hill neighborhood. The city council considered a new set of zoning regulations at its meeting last night. The area has a long history of serving students at the University of Northern Iowa, but it has suffered from rundown housing and vacant storefronts. The new zoning aims to create a thriving and walkable district, but city planner Karen Howard says success depends on outside factors.
What I like to tell people is zoning provides an opportunity, but it's not the market. So the market really needs to be there. And I think, if the student population at UNI goes up, for example, then there's additional demand. If it goes down, obviously all of this is dependent on the market.
The council aims to finalize the zoning changes this summer. The Iowa Bumblebee Atlas is offering several field day trainings across the state this month for people interested in helping out to conserve native bees. Here's IPR's Rachel Kramer.
Volunteers with the Iowa Bumblebee Atlas catch bees with nets, take photos, and release them unharmed during at least 2 45-minute surveys from June through September. Stephanie Shepard is an Iowa DNR wildlife diversity biologist.
This is helping us learn more about a group of species that we really knew very little about at the start of the Atlas.
She says the upcoming field trainings can help volunteers feel more comfortable handling bees and collecting data.
Bumblebees are actually really docile, and the techniques for catching them and getting them into the vial are very kind of foolproof. You really kind of have to not be paying attention for something to happen.
The field days are at Honey Creek State Park, Pony Creek Nature Center, and Nahant Marsh Education Center. I'm Rachel Kramer, IPR News.
And I'm Megan McKinney. Don't buzz off just yet. We have a story from Next Gen Journalism here after the break. Iowa City artist Astrid Hilger Bennett says she wants her art to be functional and sustainable. Stay with us to hear about her work and environmental ethic. Welcome back to Here First from IPR. I'm Megan McKinney. During the COVID-19 pandemic, artist Astrid Hilger Bennett's lifelong concerns about the environment came to a head. She has shifted her practice to focus on functionality and to redefine what art can be. As we hear in this story produced by Next Gen Journalism, Bennett sees her work as a small piece of environmental and social change.
These are the drawings I did last year of plants, and then I dyed fabric and made inks out of each one. So there's different plants like Dyer's chamomile, false indigo, black walnuts. My name is Astrid Hilger Bennett. I'm an independent artist. I am mostly focused on the visual arts. Train. So I studied it in college. I studied printmaking, and my last semester in college, I went on to study textile printing, and from there went to weaving and other textile processes. I consider it to be my fourth child. It screams and hollers if I don't pay it attention. So even while I was a really busy person running and co-owning a contemporary gallery, I made time for doing my studio practice. The moment of truth, so to speak, for focusing on functional artwork actually wasn't quite a moment, but more of a slide into a realization. As an artist, I have been deeply involved with the natural world. So one of the things that I feel is important for me right now is not to add substantially to an overabundance of things in the world. So one of the things I think about is that I make my large pieces functional. And that's something that I really came to think about more during the pandemic. And when I say functional, it's kind of humorous, but serious in that I think, well, in some dystopian future, we can use these pieces as warmth or tarps to cover things. They have dual purpose, and it's better than storing a painting somewhere deep in a closet. What I have done, too, is to think about the dyes that I use. There's the question, should I be using chemical dyes or should I try for natural dyes? So during the pandemic, I went into a studio art natural dye home residency, and I started studying indigo. This is organic indigo. It is raised as a plant and then fermented. It's really fascinating. You put in a piece of fabric that is wetted down, and in the dye vat it is green, and you pull it out and it turns blue by the oxidation. And then you do it again until you have the right blue that you want. I would say that the change to thinking about functional art gave me the freedom to allow myself to continue working at the scale and also in the quantities that I wanted. Otherwise, I would feel like, oh, I shouldn't be working as much. As an artist, that's not exactly healthy for us. I don't know that my artwork in particular will contribute to environmental social change all by itself, but I do believe that part of my practice is also about building communities and building network, and really developing that practice is how I also am able to connect with other people, inspire, share knowledge. It's my form of social activism.
Astrid Hilger Bennett lives in Iowa City. Her story was produced by Nev Kelly, and it comes to us from Next Gen Journalism, an organization that finds, coaches, and trains public media's next generation. You can find more stories from their recent workshop here at IPR at nextgenradio.org. We'll also share them this week on Here First. I'm Megan McKenney. Thanks for listening today, and have a great Tuesday.